I want to talk about that trade deal with Mexico. Come on in, Gaston Pereira, head of the tech company Qpagos. He does business in Mexico and the United States. Gaston, you say that this is a win for Mexico. Spell it out. In what way does Mexico win this?
Well, good morning, Stuart. Yes, definitely it's a win. I think it's a win for both the U.S. and Mexico. From the perspective of Mexico, look, you have an administration on its ending months, and Peña Nieto finally brings this win. And then López Obrador starts his new administration with this behind him. So I think that from a political point of view, it is a win. Now, if you go a little bit into the nuances of the agreement, there is an increase of local content in the automobile sector, which I think is one of the main things of the agreement. And I think that's going to promote additional investment in auto parts from Asian companies. There is a little bit of debate on how to meet the $16 wages, but there is a 4-year window. And also the United States, there could be a tariff of 2.5 if you don't meet that. And so that still keeps Mexico competitively in that sector, Stuart.
Well, do the people of Mexico perhaps feel a little better about President Trump now that they've got a deal with America, which actually raises the wages of a lot of factory workers in northern Mexico? I mean, do the Mexican people start to feel a bit better about President Trump now?
Well, I think they feel better about the negotiations. I wouldn't go as far as individualizing these preferences, but I think that people feel confident that Mr. Trump, when you go to the table, you can make a deal with him. And I think Mr. Trump is sending also a message to the Chinese and other countries that, hey, sit down with us and we can make a deal. So I think that there is those elements that if people are very satisfied that this is apparently behind us. Remember, we still have the problem with Canada. What's going to happen with Canada this week?
Well, I do want to ask you about the presentation of the trade deal with Mexico yesterday. At 11 o'clock Eastern Time on this program, we saw the President and the President of Mexico engaging in a foreign policy discussion with the cameras rolling via a speakerphone. Now, we've never seen anything like that before. How did it come across to you?
Well, I think it's a natural extension of Twitter diplomacy. In fact, Peña Nieto on Sunday had tweeted that he had already talked to Prime Minister Trudeau. And I think that Peña Nieto wanted to be present in that historic moment in where the agreement is made. So I think that was really accommodating Peña Nieto. He wanted to be heard. He wanted to be part of that. So I think Mr. Trump put the speakerphone on. I think it came across pretty nicely.
It was really surprising. I mean, we had never seen anything like that before. The Washington Post dismisses the phone call as awkward. We thought it was extraordinary. Gaston, thanks for joining us, sir. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you soon. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Stuart.
Sure thing.
Bye.